glad I looked. Ah, there we go. We finally got it. We're back.
And we're back.
We're healed.
Welcome to the cross, the crucifixion, the cross.
Okay. Now, it is actually time to start. So,
Holy crap.
yeah. Welcome to another exciting episode of...
You must be joking.
Right?
Ha ha!
Anyway, you talk about a joke, but yeah. Anyhow, so Rubber Chicken Radio went down last night. I couldn't figure out why. Got
He
home.
said it was down. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, and I couldn't figure it out. And so I went ahead and I called the hosting company that I deal with, and or I didn't call them, but they have on the weekends their call center is closed, but they say that the chat is available 24/7. Now, what I didn't realize is that by the chat being available 24/7, that actually means that it might take you 24 hours or 7 days for that to connect.
Right.
Because nobody was answering them.
Right.
I sit here for over an hour with watching the little thing go in a circle and nothing.
Well, I mean, if they're all on the same server, though, and their server was down, then maybe they had absolutely no way to even alleviate anyone's fears. It's not a nuclear assault. It's just we're having technical difficulty.
Yeah, anyhow, and so this morning I got up thinking, well, maybe they fixed it because, I typed in what my issue was before I tried to connect because that's part
That
of
was
it.
a long text. Oh!
Well, it was just, hey, my website's down. I can't get on it. Even the editor won't let me in, And
my wife at me, my kid wants to change her sex.
Well, yeah, and now we're talking, a long list here, but but so there was nothing there and everything, and then I got up this morning thinking maybe they got it all fixed, and it's still the same thing. So I go ahead and I'm working on it, trying to get in and everything. And then I was going to broadcast live yesterday from work, but my microphone wasn't working. I couldn't get it to work. So it was like, it's like, what the hell? So I went ahead and I went down and I told you I was going to go get fuel, gas in my truck. I came on in, was going to try and get a hold of them again, and it was working.
All right. Well, server problems. They just don't have a redundancy system to keep everything up. So.
Well, they should.
They should.
I mean, I don't know about the other websites, but mine should always be up.
Right.
Now for the last 2.5 years, they've never missed a beat. But yesterday and today, that's...
Yesterday, beat, missed, goddamn it. Well, I mean, I've had issues like that with one of my other shows, but it's really one time it was technical error because apparently the entire system went down and the whole station went down, and the rest of the problems I have is the producer's a little bit lazy.
Yeah, well, with mine it was just the website. Because my wife was still listening to Rubber Chicken Radio through the 365 app.
So the actual station
was still going,
functioning.
Yeah.
You just couldn't go in there and be like, hey, I want to change this.
I could go to my station's website, but just not the Rubber Chicken Radio website. I couldn't edit that one. But I could go and do whatever I wanted to in Rubber Chicken Radio.
Okay.
And my wife...
It was just that one particular aspect of the entire thing that was down?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So rubberchickenradio.com and all the subfolders to it and all the pages to it were gone.
Maybe they were doing some kind of update.
Well, usually they have, construction or updates, going on or something like that. We're doing maintenance, some kind of a thing. It was just a blank white page.
Woo!
Yeah.
Racist.
And over here on the top left, where it shows the page loading, it just kept going. It never did stop loading. Yeah. Yeah. So it was like, and so I was freaking out when I got home, and my wife was listening to the station. And it was like, well, how are you listening to it? She says, well, the app. So she was using the Live 65 app, or Live 365 app, and that worked fine. But So anyway, it just
the trials and tribulations of trying to run your own station, man.
Yeah.
That's why I don't run my own station.
Well, I enjoy it, and I like, doing all this and everything. But oh man, when things start going downhill, it's like on a,
Yeah. I'd rather just be a mouthpiece for the ignorant. Or wait, an ignorant mouthpiece.
There you go. There you go. Now we're qualified.
All right. Qualified immunity. My stupidity saves me from everything. I'll tell you, man. The other day I had some ex-friends show up. And they reminded me exactly why they're ex.
It's funny how that works when you think about it.
Well, it's my mistake too, because I have two phones, and I got one that sits over there that I use like when I have to fill out a phone number for a website. I give them that phone number, not this one, and so it started making noise, and I was like, that's an interesting sound, and I forgot that my friends list has a specific ring, so I went over and looked. Oh, it's okay. Hi, what's going on? Hey, we're out front. Oh, why? We just wanted to come by. Okay, cool. So I go, let them in, and they're just drunk as shit. And they at first it was fine. It was like, hey, how's it going? Long time no see. Blah blah blah. Yeah, okay, whatever. Blah blah blah. Hey, I really never liked the name Nothing Sounds Good. Oh, you mean a band I haven't been in 6 years? Do I really give a shit what you think about the name of it anyway? And then the other person is just like, hey, where's that Rickenbacker bass you had? And I was like, well, I gave it to a friend of mine's kid who wanted to play. Why did you do that, man? That's a Cliff Burton bass. It's like, bro, I'm allowed to do these things. You get over it. So by the end of the hour and a half that they were here, I was just like, now I remember why I should never answer the phone when I see that name.
Yeah. Fortunately, I don't have any friends like that. Every one of my friends that I've had anything to do with over the last 20 years are still friends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these people are, they started out as friends of friends, and they got really super clingy.
Yeah.
And luckily we drifted apart. And like I said, I accidentally answered. Oh, really? Oh, we're out front. Because the last time they came by, we weren't here. And they went ahead and came up on the porch, rearranged our furniture, pulled up some plants. I was like, oh, that's cool. Nice.
Well, at least you were home and kept them from doing that this time.
It's like, thanks. You guys are jackasses. But whatever. So, but I guess once in a while you have to be reminded why you don't call people.
Yeah, I got a call the other day from a really good friend. I haven't heard from him in a long time. I used to get a call every year telling me, reminding me that it was either him or his wife's birthday and where they were going to be. And then we'd all go and we'd do karaoke and just play and have a good time together.
Right.
And then the last few years, no calls, and this kind of stuff. And so, in fact, I've talked to him twice, I think, in the last 3 years, and so when he called me up the other day and everything, it was like, whoa, cool. Hey, Scotty, and so we were talking and everything, and he was looking for a fourth to go golfing. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and we haven't golfed together. Well, we've golfed together once, and that was like 3 years ago. I think that was the last time we actually spoke, So, he was going, yeah, we need a fourth and everything. Would you be interested? Yeah, I'd love to, except I got to work in the morning, and, so I said, now on a weekend, I'm wide open, or, if we could, you want to do it again in a different week, because my schedule changes, and, then we got to looking at the weather and it was like, well, that ain't going to happen. So
I think another thing, I was okay with it because my girl was at work. So I was like, I wasn't gonna let him in the house. Just come on back to the garage, we'll just sit out here and see what happens. And then I got a text from my girl. She's like, hey, I just clocked out. I'm on my way home. I said, take your time. Candace and Joe are here.
So she went to dinner and
yeah. Luckily, they left about 10 minutes before she rolled in. Otherwise, they would have been here for another 2.5 hours, and I'd have just been like, oh, God. It's different when they're not annoying, when they, but these I don't think I've ever seen these two sober, ever. So, and me being the prude that I am, if I'm not drunk, I don't want you being drunk around me.
I'll remember that. I'll send a beer ahead.
Nah, it's just, like so far you haven't been an annoying drunk. They're always annoying.
Yeah, well, usually I don't have to be drunk to be annoying.
Right. See, it's just a natural plane, so
Yeah,
I'm used to the existence of it. Where I'm annoying as hell, and so alcohol doesn't change that for me. So we can kind of get along.
Yeah, we mesh. Yeah. Eventually, it becomes kind of a contest. Who can annoy who the most.
But yeah, those guys, they instantly come out the gate with the trophy. They annoy from the get go.
Yeah. Fortunately, there were people like that back in the 80s I used to hang around with. They used to come over and stuff. In fact, one guy got so drunk one night that he, I didn't like him anyway, but he came up and he knocked on the window on my front door too hard, and his hand went through it and he cut himself. So
that's kind of hard knocking because those windows are usually pretty tough.
Yeah, well, it was an old house for one. But so it was just a single pane glass,
not the new tempered stuff.
Right. But anyhow, he goes ahead and he cuts himself on there and everything, and he's bleeding. So I go ahead and I wrap it on up, take him into the bathroom, and then I talk him into letting me stitch him up. That was the last time I saw him.
I had a friend that was working on a fishing trawler, and when he left, we gave him a bottle. And it was like, the last day, go ahead and drink that. So when he was working, he cut his hand open. And he was like, crap. They can't take him to the hospital because then he's off the boat not making money.
Right.
So he drank that bottle and stitched himself up. And it's really funny because how you got the little line in your hand?
Yeah.
Well, he cut on that line, but now it's offset a little bit.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, fortunately, I have never cut myself so bad to where I needed to stitch myself.
I've never stitched myself either. I stapled myself twice, though.
Well, I did that.
Right there, 2 staples. Beep, beep.
Yeah, I've stapled myself once by accident, and that was using the stapler at work. Yeah.
I actually used a DeWalt stapler. Pow, pow. Because it was a good open gash, man. I was like, ah.
Yeah, well,
I think it hurt more to staple myself than the actual stabbing. Because the shock from the stabbing. Whoa, you actually cut me? Oh, hey, I better take care of that. Ow!
Yeah. Me, I was putting together a pallet, so you're making kind of a C out of 2x4s,
Yeah.
And I was putting banding on the back of it, and the guy came up and talked to me just as I was getting ready to staple. And yeah, I didn't realize it, and so I caught myself right here,
Back to stapling.
Yeah. That was a lesson learned.
Yeah, having been in construction for a very long time, I've shot myself in the hand with a nail gun and a stapler.
Yeah.
And the hand one was the best because the first time I ever hit myself with a nail using a nail gun, I was, got a 2x4 on the top plate, and I had my hand right against the top plate. The nail hit a knot and went through my thumb. I was like, okay, hold your hand back here from now on. The
Yeah.
second time, I'm up on a roof putting bird blocks in the trusses, so my hand's way over here, and the nail gun went off because I tapped it on the rafter, and the nail went into my hand, and it was sticking out about this far. I was like, wow, that's pretty good impact, and I kept working because it didn't hurt, nothing. My boss comes up, he says, hey, you need anything? I said, yeah, pull this nail out, would you?
There was a guy at work when I was working at the same place I stapled myself. Real nice guy and everything, but he had a very bad day with the nail gun because he had the same thing happen. He was holding the 2x4 down here. It was, so you got the 2x4 going across the top, then you got
Right.
two of them coming down this way. And he was holding this board and everything and going to staple it here. Well, when he did, he didn't have it down straight, and it went through and it got him in the hand.
Right.
Well, reactively, he goes ahead and he pulls his hand off, and he takes the gun and he tries to put it down. And when he was putting it down, evidently his finger was still on the trigger.
It went off again.
And it got him in the thigh.
Oh!
So he nailed himself twice, literally.
I watched a guy nail his foot to the floor one time, and we extracted the nail, and he had to go to the hospital because it was pretty gory because it went right through the bone in his big toe. And so we're in the hospital, and it's, well, I mean, it's just the ER or whatever, and so the nurse is like, well, we're gonna have to irrigate that, and he's like, irrigate that? What does that mean? They get this needle out with water in it. He's like, he said that hurt more than actually shooting himself, and I believe it.
Yep. What you should have done, though, is hand him a piece of chalk and ask him to draw a perfect circle.
Well, when he said that he'd nailed himself to the floor and said, can you help? I threw my cat's paw to him. Here you go. He's like, no, I'm going to need you to do this.
I would have said, here, draw me a circle while you're there. My dad used to tell me that if I didn't behave, then that's what he was going to do. He was going to staple me to the floor, and then I'd just get in trouble in a circle. He never did, but
The threat was always there, and it's still valid.
Yep. And he didn't have a pneumatic nail gun either. It would have been a framing hammer and him holding it. Poof.
Aggressive.
Yeah. He would have enjoyed that way too much.
Yes. So we got any fun topics today?
Actually, I was looking at topics.
Busy.
I was looking at a lot of stuff and everything, and I was going to print them out, and I forgot to print them out. But how about just shit that can go wrong? Because yesterday was not a fun day for me. Like I told you, we had the issues, with the station, right?
Yeah.
But I had everything all worked out. I went to work on Thursday, right? And I tested. I got my new computer, my new laptop, had it all set up. Had my little mixing board all set up. Had microphone set up, the whole 9 yards. The software was running. Everything was working fine. I could, push the button, and the microphone would broadcast. Everything was working great, right? So I'm going, all right, cool, because I had to work yesterday, so I had to put in a day of overtime. So I'm thinking, okay, well, Saturdays are usually slow day. So I'll go ahead and I'll just broadcast live from work, because they don't care as long as I'm doing my job,
Right.
So I go ahead and I get to work. I get everything all set up. And once I get everything straightened out and fixed up and ready to go, I go ahead and I have it all set up and everything, and I start broadcasting, and I hit the mic, and nothing. So I had to quit broadcasting, and then I'm sitting here for like 4 hours trying to get this microphone to work, and eventually it ended up with a hum, and that started getting louder. And then every time I'd touch the microphone up here on the metal, it would stop that hum.
60 cycle hum with a ground loop, huh?
Evidently. So, but it was just, kind of in the background.
And you go,
yeah.
Yeah. So you're writing songs with your microphone now.
Yeah, it was just, I couldn't figure it out, and yet and yet the sound from the microphone would come through the headphones.
Yeah.
It would come through the speakers, and it was showing that it was going through the board.
The hum?
No, the voice even.
Okay.
I could push the bass voice, or and it would come through fine. I did the woman's voice, I did the child's voice. Everything was working just fine, except it wouldn't go through to broadcast.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's the next thing after this that I have to figure out, because I got to get it fixed and ready to go because I work next weekend. So I'll be broadcasting Saturday and Sunday, with any luck.
Right.
So I don't know if it's the microphone.
I had to work on some cars this week.
Say what?
I had to work on some cars this week.
Really?
Talking about trouble. Yeah, because I don't know if you noticed, but the little red car is no longer in our yard.
Well, I noticed I hadn't seen it, but I figured she was gone with it.
And she was gone with it, all right. So, like 8 or 9 months ago, I fell asleep at the wheel and slammed it into the guardrail.
Yeah.
Well, she went ahead and slammed it into the guardrail the other day and totaled it.
Oops.
Yeah.
How's she?
And she's fine. She's absolutely fine. But she's got a bump on her forehead that we can't figure out how she got, because the seatbelt obviously locked because she's got bruising here, and the airbag went off. So what made the bump on her forehead? Either some shrapnel off the steering wheel from the airbag or something.
If she had her hands on the steering wheel like this, the airbag could have pushed her hands away. If she wears a ring or a watch, a ring or a watch or anything like that could have got her.
That's true. Yeah, but anyway, she's totally fine. A little bit banged up. She's resting now, but yeah, it happened over there on the 7 on ramp. She was slowing down, and the car went out of control.
Damn.
And it's a front wheel car, so it's just like it's hard to imagine that it went out of control. Although it's been dry forever, and it rained about 10 minutes before she left.
Yeah.
And so I'm figuring it just ice rinked on her.
Yeah. It was really slick the other day when the rain first came in. It was slicker than crap.
Yeah, so I told her I'm just glad she wasn't in the truck, because that would have been way worse. But
yeah. So
I got my old truck running, her truck going again, and so now the red car's gone.
Well, at least she's okay. That's a good thing.
Yeah. But the cop was an asshole. Wrote her up for
driving too fast for conditions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when I rolled up, because she called and said, "Hey, I just wrecked the car," I was like, "All right, I'll be there in a minute." And when I rolled up, there were 2 cops there, a tow truck, 3 people had stopped to help her. And the cop's like, "So what was going on? Were you driving too fast?" She's like, "No, I always go slow around that corner." So 15 minutes later, he comes out and he's got her license, insurance, and a citation for driving too fast for conditions. And I'm just like, "Can I see your body cam footage? Did you question any of these people?" He's like, "Just take it to court." I'm like, "Oh, okay, jackass." So we're going to have to contest that. Yay.
Yeah, see, if she had a CDL, then there would be no fighting it, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've gotten that, and it was a freak storm that came in. I mean, it was wet and slush, or not even slushy at first, It was just wet, and then all of a sudden the snow started. You could see a line where the snow hit, and it was like 20 feet past that where it was ice underneath.
Right.
I mean, you could see the border. but it was kind of foggy, and I was only doing 45, and this is on a 65-mile-an-hour freeway.
Right.
I was doing 45, and then I see some tail lights up ahead, or brake lights, I mean. And it was like, okay, so, because they're all in the right-hand lane, so I move over to the left because I'm not sure what, and I'm slowing down, and I get down 45 and everything, and I'm going past these people, and all of a sudden I hit that and everything. It was like, shit. So, and then I see these other people up a front, with their brake lights, and so I go ahead and I'm tapping the brakes, and nothing.
Right.
I mean,
Still going
it's
45.
yeah, and so I'm pumping the brakes as best I can and everything, and then I look in my mirror and I can read my trailer, and went by, and and it went by and everything, and
that way.
it sideswiped one straight truck and one car.
Damn,
And
man.
before it went back the other way and everything, and that's when I took it into the medium strip where the snow was thick, and that's what stopped me. But the brake sure as hell didn't.
Yeah.
So I got a ticket for too fast for, I told him I was only doing 45. It's just, there was no brakes and there was nothing, I might as well have just been in a go-kart because.
Yeah. I remember one time going over the pass and it was nice on one side and it was icy and shit on the other side.
So you were heading east?
I go over and I get into the icy side and whoop, whoop, whoop. I was like, whoa, okay, slow way down. I'm going like 25. Cars are passing me. I'm like, hey, man, I'm not wrecking this truck.
Yeah. So you were coming back over from the east, coming west. Yeah. Because I've had the same thing happen in a semi. Just come up over there and everything. And then all of a sudden everybody's and people are flying by me.
Yeah, and then, I don't care. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I've dropped gears and everything, I'm going down about 25, 30. And these people are just flying by. Some of them honk their horns, flipping you off, and everything,
Of course. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then you get on up there about a quarter of a mile, half a mile, and you see them wiped out into the guardrail or out and laying out in the median strip. Yeah, just honk the horn as I'm going by. I had that happen in Wyoming too, which was funny, because it's a long, straight, flat. It's part of God's ironing board. Okay,
right.
You got Wyoming, and then you got Nebraska, and you put especially you just put them together, and that's God's ironing board. You can barely find a wrinkle, and but come through there and everything, and it was a little bit foggy, and the snow was coming down. It was icy and everything, and I was doing about 40, and I had trucks passing me, cars passing me, just and some of them would get on the CB. Some of the truckers would get on the CB and start telling me what a jerk I was for going so slow. Yeah, and it was like, well, kiss my grits,
Yeah.
So and then it was like 3 miles up ahead, and 2 of those trucks were on the in the medium strip. One of them was on his side, taking a nap. Yeah, and then and then one of them had jackknifed to the right, hit the guardrail on the right hand side, and just and I just honked my horn as I was going by them because that all happened at the same spot. And there were like 6 cars lined up in there too, so it was like, I'm done, but I just kept on going 40.
This flippant cop said, well, nobody else is having an accident here. I was like, yeah, because you guys are blocking the fucking road. No one can go the speed limit anymore. These guys, man, I'm telling you, I'm starting to hate authority again.
I never knew you quit.
See? Yeah, I just haven't been out there to hate them. Now that I interacted with them again, I'm just like, oh, this is why. This is why I write songs of meanness.
Well, I can honestly say that I have met some real jerk cops, but I have also met some really awesome ones. So
I'm not saying there aren't good ones out there, but they're few and far between.
Hey, when I got arrested in 82, I was arrested, and there were 5 of them that wrestled me down, and only one of those 5 was not a nice guy, and he was the one that started the fight. They had me hogtied and everything, and was slamming my face into the pavement to break my, because I went rigid on them, so they couldn't hogtie me, and
Yeah.
started slamming my face into the pavement. But they finally broke me and hogtied me, threw me in the back seat on my stomach. But it all started because the one, and all the cops were really nice, and and I got into the. They had me standing there in the hallway with this one cop handcuffed, you know, and I asked him, hey, can I have a cigarette? And he says, no, this is a no smoking area. I said, oh, okay. And then about a half a minute later, he lights up a cigarette. I said, I thought you said this was a no smoking area. He says, well, the good old double standards. And I said, well, can I at least have a drag off of yours? He said, hell no. I said, you're an asshole. Then they took me out to the car, and it all started from there.
Yeah, I got in an accident one time, and the officer was nice enough to say, well, I'm not going to give you any tickets. You can just walk home. And I was like, well, that's quite a ways. Can you give me a ride? And he's like, no, if you get in the car, you're going to jail. Oh, okay. I will walk.
I had something similar to that happen in Auburn. Me and my girlfriend, we'd gone to the Royal Bear, which is a bar there in Algonquin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so we're sitting there, and I hadn't even been drinking, but she had 2 glasses of wine, and the cop was sitting in the south parking lot, and I was parked in the north parking lot, and we'd gone there because I just got done recording the Redneck Rapper, and I wanted to try it out. I made a karaoke disc out of it, and I wanted to try it out for everybody there. So go ahead and do that and everything, and so we get into the car. We had to leave early because I had to work the next day. So we take off and everything, and as I pull out, I had my disc on the dash, and when I pulled out and turned left, the disc started to slide across. So I grabbed it like that and everything, and then put it over on the console. And just as I did that, the cop come whipping out of the parking lot on the other side of the building, and then pulled me over and asked me if I'd been drinking. I said, no. I said, I said, she had a couple of glasses of wine, and I showed him the disc, and I said, no, I was just trying this out tonight, And he said, so he goes ahead, and he asked me for my license. I hand it to him. It's a Utah license. It's my CDL, my first CDL.
Yeah.
And, so I don't even have a Washington license right now. But so he takes my Utah license. He runs it back there. He comes on back up and he tells me my Washington license is suspended for failure to pay child support. And I said, I already called them and told them. I said they started garnishing my check two weeks ago. I said there's no way. And he punches a hole in my license. And I'm going,
Damn.
what the fuck? So he goes ahead and he handcuffs me, puts me in the back of the car. He has my girlfriend standing next to the car, and she's in a short dress and a light jacket. It's colder than shit outside. And but he goes ahead and he says that he's going to take me to the station, And so he's going to take us to the station and everything, but he's going to impound the car because my license was suspended.
Jesus.
Yeah, so they impound my car, but I had to, and he ends up not taking us to the police station. He took us to the Chevron station over by the Super Mall. And he dropped us off there. And I told him, my wallet's still in the car, He handed me back my license with a hole in it, but my wallet was still in the car. And I said, can you get my wallet? Can I, And he says, yeah, I'll get your wallet and I'll bring it to you. And I said, okay. So he finally showed up about an hour later. So we're still standing there at the Chevron station before he finally comes back with my wallet, gives me the wallet and everything, and he won't give us a ride home. So she and I have to walk from there over to our apartment, which is, on the other side of the tracks and everything, and yeah. Then it cost me $230 something to get my car out of impound the next day. And the reason he said he pulled me over to start with was that my license plate light was not bright enough.
I think we should start doing audits of office.
Well, the funny part was,
you ever watch these YouTube shows where the guy's, he's got his thing and he's checking out what cops are doing, making sure they're towing the line, and then they'll come up and be like, "What are you recording for? Why are you doing this?" And
yeah, I
sometimes
saw a couple of
they get
those.
aggressive.
Yeah.
Every time they get aggressive, there's a lawsuit. I mean, it's the taxpayers' money, but hey, cop wants to beat me up, go ahead.
Yeah.
The first time I've let someone beat me up for no reason. Only this time there's a reason. I'm gonna get paid.
Yeah, if the money's good enough, I'll take a beating. Yeah.
Premeditated assault. Wait. I know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy that, and I watch a lot of these things because I find it interesting because there are people that know how to audit the office, they know the law, they know what they're doing, and eventually the officers are like, oh, okay, right. And then there's people that know how to get arrested. They go, they film, they get abusive and aggressive with the officer, and the officer slams them around.
Yeah.
So every time I watch them though, the police will come up and be like, "Hey, what are you doing? Why are you filming? Turn off the camera." And none of them has ever asked the question I would ask first. Well, what are you trying to hide?
Oh, no.
None of them ever asked. Hey, you're going to have to turn off the camera. Why? What are you trying to hide? This is a public spot.
Yeah, well, the funny part is 2 weeks later, I was hosting karaoke out in Enumclaw. And on my way back, I was coming through this real dark section on the Auburn-Enumclaw Highway.
Oh, yeah.
Hadn't really gotten out of... hadn't really got out of Enumclaw yet. And the Enumclaw police pulled me over and said that they ran my license plate and my license was suspended. That's why they pulled me over. And I'm going, well, that's funny because 2 weeks ago, the Auburn or the Algona cop said that my license plate wasn't bright enough to read, and yet you could do it, and the car's moving, yeah. So, but I got stiffed.
They ran the plate, they pulled you over, even though they didn't know if it was you driving or not. See, all that stuff's iffy to me. It's like, how can they pull you over just because they ran the plate? Because it could have been a friend borrowed your car,
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what they said. They had to pull me over to...
There's no reason to pull you over.
Yeah. But the first cop and everything, he was just full of it. I mean, I knew a guy there at the Royal Bear also that got pulled over. The cop said because his license plate was bent. And all it was is the corner had hit a curb. And so you could still read the plate fine. It just bent the, like an inch of the corner over.
Yeah. Well, qualified immunity gives bullies with badges all the authority they need to abuse their power.
Yeah, but those are about the only cops that I can actually say were jerks, and not good. And the Enumclaw cops, I can't really fault them. They were very nice. They were professional all the way through. They were explaining everything that they did, and that they were doing. This kind of stuff. They were respectful. They were, like I said, professional every step of the way.
Yeah.
Algona, they suck.
Like I said, I'm not saying there aren't good cops out there. I've dealt with a lot of good police officers in my time because I used to never pay for tabs. I used to never have a license. I never had insurance, and I would almost never get the car registered in my name because I knew I wasn't going to own it long enough. So I'd be driving this death trap down the road, get pulled over. The officer would come to the window and say, license, insurance, and registration. I just go, 9 times out of 10, they'd be like, get the hell out of here. I don't want to do the paperwork. Once in a while, they'd give me a ticket for driving on suspended, and I'd be like, well, I don't have a license. How can it be suspended? That's just the vernacular they use. And once in a rare while, they'd make me walk home, and then sometimes the car get towed, but I didn't give a shit. And then for a long time, you get enough tickets and you get a bench warrant. When your bench warrant reaches a certain level, $5,000, they will take you to jail. But then they changed the law where if the ticket goes unpaid, it goes to collection and goes against your credit. So the first time I got pulled over and the cop brought a ticket to the window, and I was like, well, what happens if I don't pay this? Am I going to get a bid for it? He's like, no, I think it goes against your credit from now on. I was like, thanks, officer. Have a nice day. So, yeah. And just, and it's funny because like I have some friends that want me to join their cult of sovereign citizenship. And I'm just like, well, the Constitution gives me all of that. And they're like, yeah, but you do this and you do that and you pay taxes. I'm like, you don't know me very well. I've never paid taxes. I only got this license right now because I had to get it so I could get my forklift license for a job with a big company. And once it lapses, I'm not renewing. There's no reason to. So yeah, I live freer than you've ever lived because you're paying thousands and thousands of dollars to try and get yourself uncitizened. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, a lot of people I don't think actually have a clue what they're doing anyway. They just
I think a lot of them are falling for a trap. I mean, I understand that we're all chattel to these people. Have you ever looked at your actual birth certificate? It says right on it it's issued by a bank. Your birth certificate is issued by a bank.
Not right, not mine.
Oh yeah.
No, actually, mine.
Because you're a little bit older than me.
Yeah,
so
mine was actually issued by the courthouse, and
because I got a couple copies of my birth certificate, and I just happened to see something a few weeks ago, and he's like, "Check it out. It says a banknote right there," and I'm like, "What?" So I had to look real close. Oh, his does say banknote. So I went and looked at mine. Oh shit, it's a banknote. What the hell? I was sold into slavery.
Yeah,
so
mine was actually oh shit, what is Alameda Courthouse.
Yeah,
because I was born in Oakland, California. So
I was born in Petaluma, California. So mine's hang on, what's it say? Yep, it's over here. Hang on.
Yeah, mine actually says issued by the Alameda.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Let's see if I can show this to you. Okay, can you see that?
Hold it.
Focus in. Focus.
I'm still waiting for the focus.
Yeah, it's not going to focus, but right here, it says Midwestern banknote. Crazy. So yeah, we're all chattel. Slaves to the system from the start.
Yeah, well, I would say I'm a slave to the system.
I'd double check your birth certificate just to see if you can get it.
Oh yeah, it's in the safe, I believe.
Check it out and see, because I mean it's not like this stamp that says California. It's this little line right here in the ink print, so you can almost see it. As a matter of fact, look at it right now. Midwest Banknote Company. And so I looked it up, and it's a bank.
Probably the same people that print out checks.
Yeah. It's a Federal Reserve banknote, is what that is.
Well, good.
This is a promissory note on any labor that I ever do. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, which means that you're actually worth something.
Yeah. I still don't believe it.
Who'd have thunk?
Yeah, not me. That's for sure. I ain't worth a sack of shit. I'm worth even less than that.
Yeah, so, except now you know for a fact that you are worth money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
30 million.
Well, I don't know about that much, but you're worth something.
Well, I've looked at the trading that's going on, and the last thing I could see was a M&K company out of Tennessee, but before that was a company in China, $30 million.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the only reason I can't find anything further because the company, the last company in Tennessee, I guess went out of business in 2004, and I can't find the next lender or buyer.
Yeah. Probably went into a corporation.
Probably.
Yeah, because that would make it a little bit more difficult to trace. And if it was a Chinese or a Japanese or Australian or whatever corporation, base corporation, it would be next to impossible for you and I to actually track it down.
Yep.
Yeah,
so I can't get them their monies. But that's what these sovereign citizens are trying to say, that between the birth certificate and your social security card, they've been trading on you as a piece of property, making money on you through the stock market and other trading financial systems. And so there's money that's in your name that you can actually claim. And I'm just like, well, show me how. Well, you got to pay me this. I'm just like, nah, all right, I'll just do what I've been doing.
Yeah. Anytime somebody says, "Oh, well, you got, there's money that you can get, but you got to pay me some money," chances are it's either not there, or it's not as much as what they want you to pay them.
Right, exactly. So I'm just like, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, give me $20 and you can claim your $10.
I have to pay taxes. I already don't. Yeah, but it's not legal. And
it's only illegal if you get caught or prosecuted.
It's only illegal if you get prosecuted. You can get caught all day, but if they don't do nothing about it because they can't. See, and that's what I think the real thing with me is. I don't own anything. I mean, I've never even had a freaking bank account until now, and the only money that I keep in that account is $4 above what I know I'm going to be spending through my recurring payment stuff. That's the only reason. Otherwise, I'd be sending those people money orders.
Yeah, see, I have a bank account of my own and everything, but I get, the money that is in that account is what covers my gas, covers the station and all the stuff that goes around through it. It was what
any kind of automatic payments or a small living expense like your fuel.
Yeah.
I don't see. I keep money in my hand to pay for my gas, and I think it's $170. I put in on the 1st, and it's gone by the 19th.
Yeah.
It's down to $2. So go ahead, come get me. I don't have a job, so they can't garnish my wages. I don't own anything. There is nothing that I'm looking at that I can walk to within 5 minutes that has my name on it in any way, shape, or form, except the bill for the power.
Well, they can always have the bill.
They can. Go ahead. Here, it's all yours.
Wish they'd take mine.
Yeah. So I'm living how they want to live. They're just trying to pay someone to give them the authority to do it, I guess.
Beats me. I know that when I was younger, I would go out and I would buy, I was living in the mountains for one. So I didn't own a car. I didn't own anything except my guitar and everything I had in my backpack and the stuff that I had in my tent, and then eventually my A-frame that I built, right? That was the only thing I had, but even the A-frame, I mean, it was part of my mining claim, and, so then other than that, I would go and I would peel logs, for $8 a log every month or two,
to go get beer. Yep.
Yeah, so I could afford cigarettes or tobacco, actually. I'd get the cans of top tobacco,
Right. Always.
Yeah, and so I'd go ahead and I'd get that, and I might buy a 6-pack of beer or something like that, and then, some flour or sugar, this kind of stuff to take it back up with me. And that was it, and, so I'd make $24 in a day, and that was all I needed for the essentials.
Yeah.
And I'd take it back, and then I could walk around for 2 weeks and never see anybody,
Right.
I had a wine pit that was, all the booze I needed, you know.
And meanwhile, these people are like, I don't have to register my vehicle. Yeah, how many times you get pulled over in a month? 3, 4? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't have to deal with the police.
Yeah. Hell, the police couldn't have found me if they'd have tried,
Right?
Not only that, they probably couldn't have survived the trip because back then, weed was illegal and everybody around me were pot growers, and they all
So
had guns.
Sure.
Yeah, they all had guns, I mean, so by the time they got to me and everything, that had been planted somewhere as fertilizer,
Right?
So I didn't have to worry too much.
No.
I'd go every once in a while and go into like Grants Pass or Medford or sometimes I'd actually hitchhike to Roseburg, and go see some friends there and stay for a while and then turn around and head back to the mountains again. It's good enough for me.
Right? Yeah, I just don't understand the weirdness of sovereign citizenship, because under the Constitution we are sovereign citizens. That's what a republic means. Just because you don't like the laws doesn't mean you have to pay to change them. Just ignore them.
Yeah.
The only thing you really can't do is not pay your power bill, everything, or your mortgage, right? Because those are things they can come take or turn off the power. Other than that, don't fuck up. No one will fuck with you.
Oh, water, sewage too.
If you need it.
Well, I kind of like the idea of the sewage leaving the house.
Hey, I haven't been there in weeks.
Yeah. But so I kind of like the idea of getting rid of that, and I kind of like the idea of having running water coming in. I don't really feel like packing water from the Puyallup River and then trying to purify the sludge.
Just capture rainwater.
Yeah, I thought about doing that.
And
actually,
then you can make it move if you have it elevated and you have a system where it's pushing. So
yeah. I could also build a cistern.
Yep.
Used to have one of those in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been looking at some of those. What is it? I think it's a 2,500 gallon rain catch barrel.
Mhm.
Those things kind of look cool.
Yeah.
Because I could get I'd be able to use that to water the garden almost indefinitely.
Well, I thought seriously about doing something like that just to say hell with it, except being here in Tacoma, you got to have the garbage service. You got to have the electric service. You got to have the water and the sewage service. They won't let you shut any of that off.
Oh, you can turn off your garbage service.
We tried. They wouldn't do it.
Oh, we did.
Yeah,
they wouldn't. For quite a while, we did.
Yeah, they wouldn't let us do it and everything. They would let us do the minimum size garbage can, but we had to still keep the service. And I told them, shit, I got a bunch of garbage cans out here, that I can just put the stuff in and take it to the dump. It'd be a lot cheaper than paying you guys.
Yeah.
But they can't do that because they said, you get rats and stuff. I'm going. We already got rats. If it wasn't for the neighbor's cats, we'd be screwed. So, but they wouldn't let us turn it off. They wouldn't let us just stop with the garbage and haul it myself.
Yeah, we did that when we were first here, but then I got tired of going to the dump for 2 trash cans worth of garbage and paying $40, and it was like,
Yeah.
So it's a little bit cheaper to have the service.
Yeah, where we got 6 garbage cans out here, and so
we have 2, but now she recycles so damn much. We have more recycling than garbage. So
yeah, well, we do too.
Half of one every 2 weeks out there. It's like, just make a pile. I'll start going to the dump again.
Yeah, well, yeah, they just wouldn't let us do it. Now, when you did it, it was probably before we moved in.
Oh yeah, it's quite a few years before you were here.
Yeah, so that's probably why everything's changed. So.
Yeah, because I remember when our service was reinstated, they came through and took everyone's can, and then they came back and gave you a smaller can. So we had to go, hey, we're gonna go ahead and ask for the next size up. And they're like, okay, well, it's gonna be this much for the service. And then they changed it to every other week. And then they said you can't put your can on the street; it has to be in the alley.
Uh-huh.
But people were putting their cans on the street. I'm just like, look, that doesn't make no fucking sense to me.
Well, what I can't figure out is why the recycle and the yard waste are on the street and the garbage is in the alley.
And our neighbors across the street, they put their garbage on the street, so the garbage truck goes up the street and down the alley.
I don't know.
I don't know either. The only thing that's fun about watching them come through the alley is they what every 2 or 3 years they'll run that grader through there and
Yeah.
smooth it all out. And then as the garbage truck comes through, he's going so fast, rips up the alley.
Yeah, I
You can
thought
see where people put their can all the time.
I thought about seeing if we can't all just pitch in and get blacktop laid out through the alley, but then again, that would have people going 50 miles an hour back there. We already have, yeah, we already have them just flying through. So, but
then they said you're not allowed to fill in the potholes back there. What do you mean I'm not allowed to fill in these potholes?
Yeah, if you guys don't do it, we need to.
What kind of ignorance do we live under?
Think of what state you're in, and I'm not talking about the state of confusion or the state of chaos. You know.
I prefer the state of inebriation, sir.
Yeah. Now you're talking. Now you're talking.
Hey, what school did you go to? Drunken State?
I actually pretty much did. Yeah. That was
Yeah?
my high
Oh, yeah.
school. Yeah.
High school, college, all of it. What? What happened? Where did I go? What's this? I graduated. What?
Yeah, high school and everything. You know, I skipped so much. Jeez. You know, I was drunk most of the time.
Yeah, I got my good enough diploma, also known as the GED.
Yeah, I never did. I went to get it a few times, but something always happened. In fact, I went to get my high school diploma. I went back, you know, to do that.
Yeah.
And every damn time something else would come up, you know, some kind of catastrophe to where I couldn't complete it, you know.
Right.
So I just finally gave up. But I have gone to college a few times.
Yeah, I went and I got my GED about 3 weeks after I dropped out of school, and then it was, I'm gonna say it was 15 years later. I decided to go to college for nothing, you know, the music business.
So I got my bachelor's in the music and video production, but
Yeah, I never did
Other
get
than
a
that-
GED, never did get a high school diploma, but I did get my A+ certification. I got certified as far as expert troubleshooting and practical problem solving, extrusion theory, extrusion technology, you know,
Yeah.
and let's see here. There was something else, but I forgot what it was.
that's how important the schooling was.
Well, you know, but it was something that I liked and that I was interested in. It wasn't all the crap in high school that, you know,
Well,
I was
that's
never.
why I went to the art institute, because I figured, you know, because you read about like Kiss, them guys have business degrees and stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna get a degree in something I'm interested in, something I'm actually active in, and music and video production sounds smart to me.
Yeah.
Let's do it, pow! So you know, and I mean, it looks good on a resume, but it didn't get me any farther than just being the backup bass player for a touring band. So, but whatever.
Well, that's still further than a lot of people. I mean, that's further than I ever got. The closest
I
to
got
being a
further
touring band I ever got was carrying my guitar when I was hitchhiking and playing at different places, you know, for food, you know.
Right.
There was that one place in Idaho, around Hot Springs somewhere. It was a resort. I was hitchhiking through, and these guys asked me if I knew how to play it, you know, and I said, yeah, you know, and okay, you know, so they said, well, come here, you know, come with us. We'll take you to the resort. You play tonight, and we'll give you all you can drink and all you can eat and a place to stay. I said, score, you know. So I got hammered and ate a pretty good meal, got a soft bed to sleep in. Next morning, got up, started hitchhiking out again, and, you know, Next night, I was sleeping in the ditch beside the freeway, you know, waiting for daylight to come so I could start hitchhiking again.
Yep, the good old days, man. Can you
Yeah.
believe those were the good old days?
Actually, I had so much fun, and I met so many really nice people. I met
The
some
good old.
weirdos too, you know. I mean, I met some
Oh
pretty,
yeah, oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah. You met me.
not when I was hitchhiking,
No.
you know, but
But yeah, I mean,
yeah, but
all that, all the trials and tribulations definitely were outshined by all the good times and good people.
oh hell yeah, yeah, it was a blast, you know. I mean, even going, I was trying to get to South Dakota to go to work, and ran out of money and gas in West Yellowstone. You know, so I'm sitting on the hood of my car playing the guitar with my case open and everything, trying to get enough to get through the gate. You know, made it, but you know, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my touring. You know.
Yeah, mine was contractual. Damn it.
Yeah, yeah. My touring was a paid gig, you know. Of course, it was change, you know. Couple of ones here and there, you know. I think I got
Oh,
a
yeah.
couple of fives, you know, but never anything bigger than a five.
I think the funniest thing was the last royalty check that I got was for $5.
My first royalty check I just got not too long ago, and that was for 384 or 484. I can't even remember now, but it was right in there, 86, 84. First time I ever got any royalty checks.
Yeah, I used to get them every 6 months, and they'd be anywhere between 2,500, 1,500, and then the last couple years they started going down as the internet got more popular. The checks got smaller and smaller and smaller until the last one is like $5. I guess I won't cash this. I'll just keep it as a memento.
Yeah, mine goes
I should
direct
frame
deposit, so
I should frame it and put it in.
yeah, you should. But mine's direct deposit, you know. But,
Yeah.
yeah, let's see here. And it wasn't even for a song that I wrote. Yeah, it was for my version of Last Kiss.
I need to figure out how to promote my Christmas song.
Oh,
I
that
need
one
to
that,
figure out how to sell it to someone that's going to give me money.
yeah, that one that you gave me to put on
Yeah.
the station. Yeah, that's a good song too.
It is a good song.
Yeah, it was done really well. I played that just the other day, in fact. So
I used to do music stuff. Now I'm just a lazy communist pig.
well, if I can ever get to where I can sing again, then I'll start trying to do it. But without my voice, it's just not as much fun. You know, sitting there picking on the guitar, it's just not the same. You know.
Yeah.
And
That's like when we started, I told you those guys came over. They're like, "How come you don't play?" It's like, because I can't find anybody that has the same drive that I have.
yeah, you know,
'Cause
even talking anymore, I sound like I got a cold. You know.
The last band I was in when we won that competition that we didn't even know we had entered, and they wanted us to come play. I'm just like, "Hey, I'll pay for everything. Let's go." And this guy who works for the city of Enumclaw, he's like, "Well, I've got my career to think about."
Yeah.
You don't want to play music the rest of your life? You'd just rather be a city planner for shit town? Yeah, yep. Okay. And this guy called me about 6 weeks ago. He calls me. He's like, "Hey, man, I was just wondering if you want to like maybe get the band back together and do some playing." I'm like, "Bro, you're in 5 bands right now. The answer is no."
Yeah.
And besides, you've got your career.
Well, who knows? Maybe he's close to retirement now. You know.
Funny thing is, I haven't heard from him since.
Well, we got our hour in, dude.
All right, man.
Yeah. So actually, I like this one. This is a good episode.
Yeah, well, you talk about your troubles and your trials and see the bright light through the darkness, and it's a good time.
Yeah, well, I am the bright light in the darkness. As you can see,
I'm
it's
the
all dark
darkness,
back
you're
there,
the
and I'm
bright
kind of
light.
glowing.
I'm the bright light. You're the darkness. I can see from here. Bright, dark.
Yeah, but look, I'm glowing in this darkness where you're kind of shaded in that light. So.
What are you saying? I'm a man. I'm a woman. Anyway, leave the children alone, you mentally ill jackasses. So
that's why I stay away from the playgrounds.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
Hey, it's been another episode of
You Must Be Joking.
Right? Woo! Made it. Thank you, anybody who watched. Thank you, everybody who subscribes. Thank you, anybody who's listening to Rubber Chicken Radio, even when the station's down for him.
Yeah, that's
check this out. It's rebroadcast on NWCZ Radio Channel 1 on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock.
Well, I don't know if he's still doing that or not. I know you were on last week, but I don't know. Yeah, but I know I wasn't.
Okay, well, maybe.
Or I don't know. Actually, no. Last week, I don't know for sure if I was on or not. I know that.
I don't know either.
That you were.
Listen.
Yeah.
I don't listen.
Yeah, I know that you were. But yeah. But I know the week before that, neither one of us was on.
It's real hit or miss. So every once in a while, check out NWCZ Radio Channel 1. You might just find us there.
Yeah.
Maybe you won't.
Yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, we're gonna go shopping because I gotta go get Mama some muscle.